Hey, happy Friday. Yes, I'm back. And notice my set has changed. I'm no longer able to do these on the outside. It's gotten cold, so I've had to come back on the inside, but I'm still here. So I thank God that the word doesn't care where I am. It has the same impact, whether I'm inside or outside. So thank you for joining me again. But, once again, I'm excited about the new series, All Things Resurrected. In fact, that we're learning that Christ came so that dead things can be made alive again and all things can be resurrected. And so last Sunday, the first video, we learned about resurrection, today's hope. And we learned that Jesus's resurrection was for today, or was for their time in the Bible. Mary and Martha said, we know that the resurrection will be good for the end time. Jesus said, no, the resurrection is right here and now. It's for today. So today I want to talk to you about resurrection, hope for tomorrow. Hope for tomorrow. Because that's really what Jesus was saying. Not only am I the hope for today, not only am I the resurrection today, but I am also the resurrection tomorrow. I am the hope for future generations. And we are the living proof of that because he's our hope today. But now let's talk about for tomorrow. Because if we're still living today, we're going to have tomorrows. We're going to have a future. And then there are future generations coming after us. So let's talk about what we put our hope in for today, right? We put our hope in, for our future. For our future. We put our hope in our jobs, because if I got a job, I'm going to be okay in my future. If I got money, if I have cash flow, I'm going to be okay in my future. I feel confident that my future is going to be bright. If I'm in a good relationship, I put hope in that. That, if I'm in a good relationship, then my hope for my future looks grand, it looks beautiful. But if I'm not so good relationship, it looks kind of bleak. I put hope, we put hope in our future with education. Yeah, education. If I go to school, get a college degree, get 5 college degrees, get one, get a trade school certificate, my future is sound. I put hope in my future because of it. We put hope in our future based on our anger too. Sometimes we hold on to anger saying, okay, it's going to protect me for future. So I won't do this again in the future. And so we hold on to our anger as a shield and protection. And really, we should let our anger go, forgive, and then set boundaries. Set healthy boundaries, so that we don't walk into that. But we need to let go of the anger because anger is what a lot of people put hope for their future in their anger. We put hope for our future in our strength. Yeah, and how much we can do, how much we can get done, how strong we are, in our wisdom, how experienced we are, how much we know. My future's bright because I know this and I know that, and I've done this and I've done that. But what I want to tell you today is that all of these things that we are basing the hope for our future on, because a lot of them we do, they are temporary. They are temporary. They can come and go at any time. You could be a mega star this month and not be heard of ever again. You've seen it, right? It's temporary. You can lose your job. You can lose your salary. Your education, we know, while it was in great demand at one time, in the future, it could mean nothing because the world has evolved. So these things that we put our hope in were never intended for us to put our hope in for our future. Are we to use them to help build our future and ensure that we have a future or move forward in our future? Yeah, but we shouldn't put our hope in them. I just want you to understand, see, They were never intended to anchor us and to make us feel safe and free, and free us from hopelessness. I just want you to understand something. They were never intended to free us from hopelessness and despair. See, we've learned that with money. There's people who have all kind of money for the future, but they live in a state of hopelessness and despair. They can be in depression. People who have money can die. Same thing that, they can be heartbroken, rejected. It's not a guaranteed hope for your future. It doesn't stop sickness. Money doesn't. You can have all the money in the world and get a disease or a terminal disease, and it's no hope for your future. Not here in the earth, and not in the life to come. But there is a hope for our future. And Peter, I'm going to talk a little bit about what Peter and John experienced with the crippled man at the gate called Beautiful. And you may have heard of this before. And so I'm going to read Acts chapter 3 and kind of, talk about what Peter was sharing to us regarding our hope for our future. So they're talking to the man who's the crippled man at the gate called Beautiful. It said, then Peter said, and I want you to know the man was begging. He was asking for money because he was crippled. He couldn't make a living for himself. So he was begging for money. So this is Peter's response. Then Peter said, silver and gold I do not have, but what I do have, I give you. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. And he took him by the right hand and lifted him up, and immediately his feet and ankle bones received strength. So he, leaping up, stood and walked and entered the temple with them, walking, leaping, and praising God. And all the people saw him walking and praising God. Then they knew that it was he who sat begging alms at the beautiful gate of the temple. And they were filled with wonder and amazement at what happened to him. Now, this man too was basing his hope for his future on how much money he could beg and receive. But it was temporary because he was going to come back again the next day. Every day he was going to come and beg. But what Peter said, listen, I don't have silver or gold, but I got something greater. I got something that is not temporary. I got something that can totally heal your situation. I got something that can make your future promising. I got something that can give you hope for today, tomorrow, and for future generations. And his name is Jesus, Jesus of Nazareth. So rise up and walk. And so he extended his hand to the man. He gave him Jesus. And he extended his hand, and it said in the text that the man's ankles and his legs, or his ankles and his feet, became strong. And guess what? He was able to stand. See, the power of God, Jesus' resurrection sent us back the power of God, which is able to heal us and restore us and replenish us for today and tomorrow. It's a permanent situation. It's a permanent new life, new beginning. This man was able to walk. I want you all to catch that. And I'm here to tell you, see, the money, like I said, it was temporary, and he had to get it every day. And there were days he probably didn't get anything. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Our hope for our future can't be in the things that we can acquire in this earth. It just can't be, because they're going to go away, and they can go away at any time. See, we have to give people, and we have to give ourselves Christ, because the resurrection made Christ our hope for tomorrow. That what we can receive by accepting Jesus, our hope for tomorrow, and our hope for future generations. Just like it was the hope for back in the Bible days, it's the hope for us today in the future. And it's going to be a hope for future generations, y'all. It's not going to change. He will always be the hope for tomorrow. When we give people Christ, we are saying to them, now you have the power to rise up and walk. You have the power to rise above any circumstance, any situation, any type of despair or challenge or trial. You can. Jesus is your hope for tomorrow, for what you're going to experience in the future. See, and you need this hope for the future, whether you're rich or poor, upper class, middle class, lower class, if we have middle class anymore, Black, white, Latinx, Asian, indigenous people, it doesn't matter. Whether you are Jewish or Gentile, whether you're urban, inner city, or you're rural in the country, it doesn't matter whether you live in Beverly Hills or you live in a low-income community, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're an employee or a supervisor or you're an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. Your hope for your tomorrow has to be anchored in Jesus. I guess I'm done. Remember, just because you're on top of the hill today does not mean you'll be on top of the hill tomorrow. You need Jesus, which has been designated by God, our hope for our future, for today and our future. You need Jesus to be okay, to be whole, and to be set free, no matter what comes your way. So, listen, Jesus is our hope for today, and he's our hope for tomorrow. And the resurrection seals that for us. Much love, Keita.